Today, we're going to talk about how AI chatbots specifically are being implemented inside of quality management and QMS systems, how they can really benefit your organization. My name's Sean. I'm with Botable AI. Let's jump into it. So obviously, the big name of the game when it comes to AI is automating routine quality tasks, taking things that someone will have to do manually, such as reviewing data, reviewing reports, and you can make it so that it happens every day. And AI can do that and provide you with answers according to those things, different summaries, make it easier to digest different data or tasks. And automation is such a big umbrella that we can't really get into the details unless we're talking about specific organizations. So reach out and we can talk about specifically what you have going on that can be automated using these chatbots. But let's talk about some maintenance automation that can be done inside of a chatbot. So chatbots can be fed all sorts of data, and that lets them do all sorts of things. Number one, issue detection. Chatbot is fed the data that is given across the board to a lot of different people, and it can detect issues before humans can in a lot of situations. Maybe it's reading that you have changes in temperature in a certain device every day when the sun goes down, and that's causing slight defects. AI is going to be able to catch that before humans would. Another thing that it can do is work order creation. So with that data, it can assign and generate tasks for individual people based on different data. So obviously you have standard maintenance schedules, but maybe it's noticing that certain products in a certain line are starting to trend in a certain way. It can actually create a work order for someone to investigate that. And because it has that work order creation, it can actually just dispatch technicians to different manufacturing pieces of equipment that may need it. And all of that is associated with these preventative alerts, letting staff know what's going on with their equipment and how to make changes so that things don't fail catastrophically. So these predictive insights associated with artificial intelligence is because it can digest, like I said before, a lot of information from a lot of different sources. So not just getting the information from production lines, but can also take customer feedback or quality metrics from suppliers or forecasts that you've handed it. And anyway, so basically what you can do is take information that's normally siloed in different departments and lump it all into one big basket. And now AI can make some predictions and give you insights based on all of the data instead of just individual sets of data. Before, it was taking data and you'd digest it and create easy ways to understand it for humans. And then you compare that with another set of data that's been digested and created dashboards and things like that. And now you try and find trends, whereas AI can do all of that all at the same time. So that's giving people access to a lot more of their information in a way that's easy to understand without having to send it over to your data scientists constantly. So moving on to inventory intelligence. So managing inventory can be very complex, and this is one of the things that's very well automated across many organizations. But AI, when it's given this task, is very good at it because it's very simple to keep track of numbers. As long as your processes are in place, it can actually say your stuff, this is where we're at these different levels. We have these inconsistencies because we have this level and it only moves up and down a certain amount. And then obviously restock alerts. If you set it up properly, it can actually go through and either contact your suppliers directly or initiate things inside of their systems, which is pretty cool. So 100% quality monitoring means that when you get customer feedback, it's very complex and not very useful for the average person. So taking qualitative data, right? So qualitative data and quantitative data. Qualitative data is very hard to utilize at scale. If you have some anecdotes, you can utilize that in one way, but taking a large amount of qualitative data and making actionable insights from it is something that AI can do very well. For example, you have 10,000 customer engagements that are all transcribed, and maybe they've been tagged a few times or whatever, but now AI can go through and digest all of that data, take it, comprehend it, and attribute it in different ways. And now you have 100% quality monitoring where you can take every single conversation that your customers are giving you, all the feedback, even in ways that isn't very direct feedback, right? They're not just filling out a feedback form, but also, like I said before, calls or returns, things like that. It can digest all of that, 100% of that, and now you have a complete idea of all of the feedback that your customers are having and not even necessarily giving you. Moving on. So, intelligent user assistance. AI can give obviously instant answers when it comes to procedures and SOPs. And we have another video talking about standard operating procedures and AI. So go look at that. It's really amazing. It's one of the greatest applications for an AI chatbot. Personalized training can get so complicated for both the end user and the people that are administering it. But the beauty of personalized training is if somebody is asking a question to your AI chatbot, then it knows that maybe they need more information there, obviously, because they're asking a question, but it can now have that as context so that they can now get more information. If every single person in a classroom asked every single question they had to their instructor, then obviously that would get crazy bogged down. There'd be a lot of questions, and you'd need more instructors per onboarded person or whatever it may be. So if you have these chatbots, it's like having a highly trained professional that can answer every single question at any time of day or night and have it be personalized as if they know the person very personally and understand their history. So personalized training is such a cool application for this. And of course, it can even not only create these like quizzes and stuff and create examples with context, but it can actually prescribe a training schedule for the future based on your documents and based on their current level of expertise. So a lot of really cool things you can do there. Compliance support. So not every single one of your employees is going to be 100% trained on every piece of compliance. They're not going to have read every single document that your industry, your business, your organization needs to be up to date with. Now, if you have a chatbot that is very highly trained and understands these things very well, then it can go through and actually have all of these all of this compliance documentation already inside of its software so that it can provide support in different ways. So you've probably seen this at a base level where someone uses an online LLM and they upload a document and they talk with it. Now that's great, and that's the base level. But what this is, it's taking it one step further and training a chatbot on all of your organization and all of the compliance needed and all of the context for all the specific parts that you manufacture and some of the nuances there associated with it. So now you have this compliance support that's so highly trained that it's well beyond anything that's off the shelf because it's going to provide your business with contextually sound advice and support. Really cool, really cool. So employee confidence. One of the biggest things that people can't really track in an organization is how much hesitation employees have. So for example, let's say I think that I know the next step in the procedure, and I think that I need to do X, Y, and Z. And there's always that second guessing of, ooh, I'm not 100% confident on this. Do I need to go back to the documentation and refer to it? Now, leaders in an organization would suggest absolutely yes. You should refer back to the documentation and make sure that you understand exactly what you need to do for your next steps. Now, what if your confidence level is only 90%, right? That's pretty high. And chances are your employees are going to take that risk. When in reality, you don't want them to take the risk because it can result in failures or extreme dangers. So that's what's cool about making a QMS quality management system chatbot accessible to your employees is now they can ask those questions, get an instant response. They don't need to spend time searching documentation. They can instantly get answers. So you're going to get much increased employee engagement because now they can talk to documentation. They're referring to these standard operating procedures, employee handbooks, whatever machinery documentation, instruction handbook manuals, whatever it may be. They can refer to those much easier, and therefore they will engage with them a lot more, making their actions a lot more precise and exactly what you want, which also leads to faster onboarding. Employees that come from whatever industry into your industry, there may be a bit of a learning curve. And they obviously don't have that sense of what the documentation or what the standards are in your organization. And so they're guessing, and that's why onboarding takes so long. You can have a lot of employees that are onboarding. Maybe your onboarding schedule is only 2 weeks, but the reality is they're onboarding for a lot longer because they are slower than your current employees. They don't understand the documentation. But with a chatbot, they can get answers instantly. For example, maybe they don't even know what to search early on. They're not quite up to date with exactly what the right phrase is. They have an idea of what they need. With a conversational AI, they can now say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. I don't quite understand what it is. And then the AI can give every single piece of context and understand based on the clues that the employee is giving them what answers they may need, which is exactly what this faster onboarding is all about, because they can get these answers a lot faster. So AI is really powerful when it comes to system integration. And this is something that can be very complex and normally takes teams and teams of software engineers and then time of all of your employees to give them exactly what they want and need. But with AI, you can actually connect every single piece of this. So you have all these awesome API connections that you have from some different software that you have, maybe some tools or machinery that you have, or distribution or whatever it may be. And you can put that and connect it in a system hub that can take all of these different informations, right? It can take your audit records. It has all these automated actions. It can synchronize all of this data. And now it has arms and legs. And so it has sensory input, and now it has action input. So now it can go and take action based on these things. So all of the system integration is very specific to your organization and what you need. But many of these connections are extremely manual by people. And if you don't know what you're looking for, a lot of the time those can be missed. So having a really high performing AI partner that can analyze your current systems and see where AI can take over is really helpful. So the last piece, we mentioned compliance a little bit, but having an accurate compliance plan, an accurate compliance implementation is so important, especially in the modern world where every single organization wants to regulate your industry. The nice part about this is, let's say you have a medical device that is highly regulated that you need to keep compliant with a lot of different things. You can take every single document that is required or relevant to that medical device and implement it into a chatbot that now can interact with your documentation and make sure that every piece of your documentation, every step of the way, is compliant with those documents, with those regulations, with those instructions, whatever they may be. And so having this audit data and all of your instructions and all of your materials all placed into this chatbot that also has all of this documentation training data is going to give a much better result and take up a lot less time and energy from your employees. AI is really great at a lot of things, and not a lot of people are seeing where in their organization it can help. And that's why it's important to have a partner that can see those things and make basically a prescription to implement AI into your systems. So reach out. We'd love to chat about what we can do to make your systems better and more AI enabled so that your employees and staff can tackle the important things that they're good at.